Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Wednesday. The crew and more are joined us. This monitor is kind of full today. That's because we are celebrating a brand new witnessed fall here in the United States. So we had one. I'm going to lean on someone else to give all the details, but it was in Georgia. It was a it was a daytime bolide event, and all the news was reporting on it. A couple dash cams got it. And like it's been in the news lately.
Meteorite that blasted into the atmosphere right over North Georgia. Meteorite hunters believe they found pieces of the actual space rock. And our Channel 2's Audrey Washington is live along Walker Drive, now tracking down where it landed. It traveled more than 10 miles in about 2 seconds over Newton and Henry counties. Channel 2's Audrey Washington is live where pieces probably hit a house. NASA determined pieces of the meteorite landed in Henry County in the McDonough-Blacksville area of the county.
Parts of a billion-year-old meteorite crash-landed in metro Atlanta.
Yeah, a lot of us caught it on video. We showed it to you today. Our crews got an up-close look, though, at the fragment of that meteorite. Atlanta News' first Sarah Hammond takes us to the Tellus Museum in Cartersville.
It's really exciting to see stuff like that happen. And we, of course, live and breathe that, especially when our friends, I had like 15 of my friends out in the field hunting for it within 24 to 48 hours. And it stinks for people like me who have a day job. I can't just fly out there and walk the fields and knock on neighbors' doors. I have to live vicariously through all my friends on Facebook. Well, I got green with envy, guys. Like, it hurts sitting here watching all these people have successes. I mean, I'm happy for them. Don't get me wrong, but God, I deserve one of those if only I put in some work. So this is the next best thing for all you lazy guys or all the people who have jobs, hardworking or lazy, doesn't matter. We are here now to talk to actual friends and hunters who were out in the field, who are out in the field, who live there. Someone I don't even know popped on and held up something like that to the monitor. I was like, put that down, put that down. We'll get to you in a minute, Steven. Jesus. As you can see, some of the bolide videos I've been editing on right now is a pretty intense event. And I'm going to let people talk about what they notice from these videos as far as trajectory, things like that, before we get to our two people with their hand up. Does anyone have any comments about this? Did you guys see the videos, and what did you think the odds of rocks on the ground were and why?
Yeah, well, as soon as I saw the videos, so this is a daylight thing. If this were a nighttime thing, it would have been casting shadows and everything.
So while meteors themselves are not uncommon, one during the day that is so big that so many people are able to see is a lot rarer.
And there were at least a couple of really nice detonations. So, right from the get-go, it looked like good chance for rocks on the ground. And it seemed like it had a steeper trajectory than we often see.
Exactly. That was the one thing that stood out to me immediately, Pat. Yeah.
Also, on the one video, it had a phenomenal sonic boom. I mean, it was definitely a dropper.
I still haven't heard that. Wow. Art?
Yeah, I was amazed. It seemed to be almost perpendicular the way it came in, and it was reported to be witnessed by a large number of people, and it also triggered the seismographs besides the sonic booms, and that's a lot of information for the short time it was in the flight.
I heard a really long, thunderous explosion.
A sonic boom, the equivalent of 20 tons of TNT, shook Metro Atlanta last Thursday. What looked like a fireball in the sky hit the earth as an estimated 3-foot meteorite split in multiple fragments.
A rare sight in the sky caught people's attention today. Cameras captured this fireball over Atlanta just before 12:30 this afternoon. It could be seen from Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Some people called 911 to report they heard something like a sonic boom, and it caused their homes to shake.
When I first saw the video of it, I saw it from a trucker point of view, and it's going down. Well, one angle you can't get any trajectory at all; it's always going straight down or straight across. Then I saw another angle, and wow, it's still going. Like, what are the odds? These were filmed from 90, and they were 180 degrees from each other. And then I saw another video where it was a little bit steeper, but I mean, not much. There we go, like that. But I was really surprised. And yes, I saw those detonation events as well, disruption events. Allison, I see you smiling from ear to ear.
Well, it raised its hand and said, "I'm right here. Come look for me," when it hit a house.
Audrey, the people who found it call themselves meteorite hunters.
They do. They quite literally go around looking for meteorites in the area. And today they found some pieces right near this home that you see here behind me. Take a look at that patch right there. That's where emergency management said a piece crashed through the roof here. But the hunters told me when they took a look at it, they knew it was a piece of the meteorite.
This is broken. So you see the inside of it's this white color, but the outside of it is dark and it's kind of black and shiny and a little bit frothy. And that's from where it burned up. It's called a fusion crust.
That's super cool. It not so much related to the trajectory and things like that, but it did speak volumes because the piece that hit the house was really small. And so given everything everybody's just mentioned, a daytime bolide visible, a sonic boom, seismographs, trajectory, all of that included, there must be more than just a small little piece of this that hit this house. And so that was a dead giveaway to me immediately that there were definitely rocks on the ground, multiple rocks. So
And thank you. I'm to double stamp Pat's thought about a daylight bolide event. You guys don't realize how bright the sun is. To see this thing and have it be that bright in the middle of in direct daylight I looked at it and I was like, wow. And then on other videos, hopefully I was able to edit them in. If someone has really good videos of the fall that's live, send them to me so I can edit them in. But you did see some fragmentation and some sparks coming off, the telltale thing that we're all hoping and looking for. So you're absolutely right. We saw trajectory on it. One of the trajectories I saw was a guy driving down the street and the meteor came directly down the street. And I'm like, well, that's pretty easy to navigate where that one is. So we had the trajectory, we had the sonic booms, we had the witness events, eyewitnesses, we had the hammer event, and we also had the Doppler radar that returned a really good line of data for us, and there was not a cloud in the sky. So we know for a fact that was the meteor event.
In this case, it hit a house, so we knew that something actually hit the ground. And when that happens, we come down and we look at radar return.
With all that information, there was a lot of people who just packed up and got right on a plane and went out there. And a lot of them are my friends, and a lot of them are still out there. Then there was people like Chris. This lucky bum just wrote a children's book about meteorites, about hunting for a witnessed meteorite, and then 2 hours from him, a meteorite falls. Chris, you must have been just kissing everything.
I tell you, I should have wrote a book about $1 million falling from the sky, and millions of dollars would have fallen everywhere. I don't know how I looked into that, but we'll take it.
And we checked and found out that meteorites are quite valuable. Some pieces, ranging on its size, can range from about $100 to thousands and thousands of dollars online.
So let me get some details from you, because I know you were out there. When did it fall? Where did it fall in Georgia, and how far is that from you, and how quickly were you out there?
Sure. So it fell last Thursday, which I don't have the calendar in front of me. Whatever day last Thursday was.
You're fired.
Yeah, and it's funny. Before the news, the videos kind of started going viral, and of course, I live in Georgia. People know that I'm into this stuff, so I start getting texts and messages and tweets and all, and like my phone is just blowing up. Like, do you think it'd be a meteorite? Do you think it'd be a meteorite? And I'm, basically pretty quickly figured that out for all the reasons y'all just talked about. And then, pretty quickly people started sharing the Doppler data, and it looked like it was centered around McDonough, Georgia, and Henry County. That's about, with no traffic, it's about an hour and a half from me. I happen to have cousins in Griffin, Georgia, who are just 15 minutes away. So I know the area. I've been through there before. I've eaten at restaurants around there. So yeah, it was pretty darn close. And that happened about noonish on Thursday. And I showed up. I dropped my son off at school Friday morning and was there by 9:30 in the morning on Friday.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, when you collect meteorites, read a kid's book about meteorites, and one falls within 2 hours of your house, what do? You come out here and start looking for pieces of the meteorite. So that's what I'm doing. I'm down here in a field near McDonough, Georgia. Met the farmer, made friends. He gave me permission to be out here on his fields, and this is my office for the rest of the day. Gosh, it's hot. But here's hoping we find some of those shiny, frothy black rocks that were in space at this time yesterday. Wish me luck.
Okay, so how long were you able to spend out in the field? What was your approach to finding a place to start hunting? And then eventually we'll come back to you about the news and you representing the meteorite community.
Sure. So this was my first meteorite hunt ever. So this is the first time I've been able to do this. So, you know, I've had already talked to a lot of people and know a lot of people through this group and others that do this. And so I knew I only had one day. Solo dad life. I've only got one day I can do this. Sun up to roughly sundown. Like I got to make it count. So I spent a lot of time the night before looking over maps and trying to find areas. My plan going in was basically, let's find some big chunks of land I can look at. So like, here are some farms. I knew that just living down here, I knew that hay had been harvested 2-3 weeks ago. So there'd be a lot of, you know, cut up hay fields, which are, a black rock is going to stand out pretty well in those because it's kind of brown landscape and it's pretty easy to traverse too. So that was my plan. And that's really what I did when I first got down there is I went and I saw these big fields and I figured where I thought the farmer's house was. So I just went to the farmer's house, knocked on the door, met his wife. She's like, he's on a sprayer. I just called him. He'll be over here in a minute. So I talked to the farmer. I think this is an area where having a distinctly Southern accent helps. I just
yeah, go ahead and say meteorite.
Meteorites. Did y'all hear about that meteorite that fell? And he was super chill though. He was like, yeah, you know, go, you know, by all means. I pulled up the Google Maps. He was like, yeah, you can look at all these fields. These are all mine. If you find it, I don't want any money. I just would like a piece of it to give my granddaughter. I'm like, that's super cool. So I actually gave him a copy of the book. I happen to have some in the car. So I gave him one of those. I was like, well, if I don't find one on your land, here's at least this. And I've got his address, so I'm going to mail him like a little Campo crystal or something for her. But so that was my initial start, was just looking around those fields. I spent a lot of times in the fields. It was sweltering hot. A lot of people from a lot of the other hunters from Arizona and the north found out what real humidity is these past few days. Did that for a while before eventually I started driving around and looking for other hunters, and that's when I kind of buddied up with some other folks. Craig Zlimen and I hunted together for a while, a couple other folks on the call, and that was eventually what led to my finds.
Nice, that's fantastic. And when you say finds, you were able to find we're not going to show them off just yet. We're going to save that for a little bit, but you were able to find a few pieces.
Well, I was with another hunter who found one that was shattered, who was kind enough to give me a piece. So that was my first small piece. Right about the time when I was about to leave, I found a piece of my own in a parking lot. And then about a day and a half later, I found another piece by trading / paying someone else for it. So I had a nice bigger representative piece that I'll show off later.
Very good. That's awesome. Well, yeah, you know you had to have your home state rock, so that's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Thanks for joining us, man. I super appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna check back in with your light box and look at those samples you got. Okay.
Sounds good.
Roberto. Yes.
What's up?
How you doing? How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
Good to see you, man.
Fantastic, man. I see you cruising in the vehicle right now. What are you up to?
So I went to Atlanta, and then a museum called me and said that they wanted a stone. And so I bought it, and now I have to go back to the strewn field to pick it up. I'm flying out of here tomorrow morning. Been here since Thursday. I can say it's been successful. It's been a successful trip. I think I logged 11 or 12 finds.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah. So,
amazing.
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. So
And
the
just
largest one.
to be 100% clear, that's a fine, meaning you found it, not like Chris found someone to buy it from. Okay, just me. Okay, gotcha.
Correct. These were personal finds, not
Okay.
finds. Yeah.
That's awesome,
So
man.
no. But Chris, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Bunch of first time finders. A bunch of people turned meteorite finders this trip. I'm super stoked about it. I'm putting together a spreadsheet of every stone with all the weights, and I'm hoping that I can submit that to Lawrence Garvey, and he can put a link so that even if, because there's something like 20 finders for this fall, and chances are they're not going to put 20 finders on a MEPL write-up. But I have seen them link documents in MEPL write-ups, so I'm creating a document that does list every person and every find, and I'm going to give that to Lawrence and hope he can work his magic and put that in there so that everybody gets listed.
Roberto, one of the things that I'd like to talk to you specifically about, you kind of alluded to it already, is Dr. Garvey, METBull, classifying. Like, okay, so obviously you're going to be part of the classification, the official scientific classification of this meteorite. We think it's probably an L6, L5, something like that so far, I've heard. But I'd like for you to comment on if this is such a notable event, and there's so many finders, professional finders and enthusiasts out in the field collecting samples, how do we get samples to a lab? How do we pick a lab to work on it? How do they battle to work on this material? Because there's probably, just like we're fighting for pieces, the institutions are fighting for their chance to work with this sample as well, I'd imagine. When you have 20 people finding material, who's going to donate 20 grams to a lab? You know what I mean? No, I'll let Roberto donate his, and then nothing goes to the lab. How do you ensure that something goes to the lab? How is it fair? Because it's not fair for Roberto to give 20 grams and everyone else,
In this case, Stephen Dixie was the first to find, and then I found shortly after. And between the two of us, we found enough to where we felt like we could donate that. Now, if you're out there and this is your first time and you find a 10-gram stone, and there are other finders who have 1 kilos or 100 grams or 200 grams, it's not really fair for you to count up your little 10 gram. So, as a finder, I'm proud to be able to donate to science. As a finder, I want, to be in that document that lives on forever in the form of a MEPL write-up. So in this case, Stephen Dixie and I got together and we said, hey, we want this thing classified. We want it done right. The last Georgia fall had a little bit of a mix-up. This was Junction City in 2022. It didn't go to the right person who had a repository, and because of that, it didn't get classified for several months. Recently, we've seen Lawrence Garvey take, in the case of Black Silver Mine, take a meteorite and get it classified in a couple months, because Lawrence Garvey is on his stuff. He has access to a repository and all of the necessary equipment to do the studies that are required. So in this case, Stephen and I decided that Lawrence Garvey is going to get the sample.
Well,
we
actually,
both donated.
Music Center for Meteorite says is going to get the samples, but
Correct.
Dr. Garvey's going to work on it.
Thank you for clarifying that. The Busick Meteorite Center is a repository, so that's where we decided that that's going to go. We sent in the classification sample. Stephen Dixie was the only person who got pre-rain material because he lived an hour away from the strewn field. So he sent part of his first find to get classified, because that is the most pristine sample that science has available to it.
Wow.
Not counting like the hammerstone, which nobody really knows what happened to that stone right now, as far as I know.
Wow. We're gonna get into the mystery of the hammerstone in the house in a few, but we're gonna keep it scientific right now. What do you think the classification is?
Rebecca Melsheimer, curatorial coordinator at the museum, says this is what is known as a stony meteorite, a type that is billions of years old.
It is the material that was from the very beginning in the solar system. So if we study these, we can learn about what the environment was like and how they were forming and how the planets formed.
And Melsheimer says knowing people who watch this streak across the sky will have the chance to see it here at the museum is a very cool feeling.
It's really exciting for us to be able to see something like this. You know, like this was in space on, you know, Thursday morning, and now it's here and I can hold it in my hand. It's just amazing.
I think what you said earlier, either L or LL, I think 5 or 6 is a safe bet. That's what I'm going. L or LL, 5 or 6.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Stephen Dixie, I don't know the guy. I'd like to come on the show. But yeah, I guess he's a meteorite collector. I know him from Facebook, but he literally within 3 hours of me seeing the video, I see him on Facebook holding a rock. I'm like, how in the hell did he pull that off? Yeah.
Let me tell you how he pulled that off.
Please.
Stephen Dixie, as soon as Stephen Dixie found out that there was a fireball, Stephen Dixie messaged me. I messaged guys who do Doppler data, and one of them sent me a KMZ. I sent it to Stephen Dixie, and I said, Stephen Dixie, get out there. He was out there in an hour to an hour and a half, and found rocks immediately.
Wow, that's amazing. Those things were in space like 2.5 hours before he held them in his hand, pre-rain, going to the classification scientists and repository. Fantastic work.
Yes. I'd also like to point out that the Tellus Museum in Georgia has a 151 gram sample, so at least it is represented in the state's one of the state's leading natural history.
So many people captured this meteorite falling from the sky on their cell phones last week, but now we're getting a look at it here on the ground at Tellus Science Museum. And Carissa Zdanke now has a piece in her hand at Tellus Science Museum.
The fact that I'm now holding it, it's just like, oh, okay.
This fragment was found by a meteorite hunter who got in touch with the museum, and now they're adding what created such a stir into their collection. And leaders here at the museum say this will likely be out on display for you to come see by the end of the summer. In Cartersville, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
I actually have some really amazing video. This is actually in the strewn field. And I'd like to thank one of our viewers who is with us right now for giving me or allowing me to use this video. I have 2 of them actually. One's better than the other, but here's the first. You guys can see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not a meteorite, guys. That's a meteorite.
Oh, man, that looks so good.
Oh, that kind of stinks. Oh, but my God. Okay, hold on. All right, so here's the real one. I apologize.
At least it wasn't a turd.
Dog rocket.
So there's a fresh one. I think this one's like 14 or 15 grams, something like that. Oh no, it's not. It's another wrong. Those videos were provided to me by Cameron Smith. Cameron was out there hunting. He actually found a few himself, but he gave this to me to let me know how hard it was to actual hunt and find and some of the stuff you had to deal with. Here in Arizona, you have to deal with certain things as far as fake rocks, fake meteorites, hot rocks, meteor wrongs, things like that. But I thought this was amazing. When he sent this to me, I thought for sure the first video was a meteorite. For sure. Then I was like, there's no way he can do it twice. And he got me twice. So good on you, Karen. Appreciate it, bud. We are going to check in with someone right now who's a complete unknown. Absolutely unknown, but he's paid his ticket to talk to us today and get our full attention, because I saw for a split second something big, sexy, and black, and I was like, put that down. So, Stephen, I welcome you to the program, and whoa, we got some kidsy too, so that's awesome. There you are. Stephen, welcome to the program, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Last Thursday, I was completely oblivious to anything that had happened until, I don't know, probably 7 o'clock. We go out and we're eating dinner at the barbecue restaurant in town, and the kids are watching the TV up on the wall, and somehow they get my attention, and I look up and it's showing the video of the dash cam video of the fireball, and I'm staring at it for a minute, and then I pull out my phone and I go to the fireball report on it and start looking at that. I think at that point there may have actually been the report of the hammerstone was out. I don't know. I guess I just sort of, in that split second, I said, well, guess what? I guess I'm going first thing in the morning, and called off work. I got really
Very
lucky.
well done.
I didn't have any critical meetings that day, so it was like I just really lucked out that it was a day I could call off.
How far is
Quite frankly,
the projected?
I'm a little less than 3 hours away. So had I heard about this at 12:20, I would have been on the ground that day. I didn't hear about it in time, and I figured that hunting at night was not likely to be productive. So I just said, okay, well, I'll go first thing in the morning. And I had the some of the radar data from the Amy's report or whatever that was posted, but I didn't have any of like the actual raw data at that time. And so I made my best guess as to where the meteorites might be. And I honestly spent most of my time there hunting to the northeast of the densest area of the stream field. So I was kind of like hunting on the outskirts. And I spent a lot of time driving, thinking, oh, I'm looking for black rocks on white concrete. Well, anything that hit concrete shattered, and the interior was so white that it wasn't until the end of the day on Friday that I realized one of the very first parking lots I drove and looked for meteorites that had meteorites in it.
Are you serious?
And I just couldn't see it. And then I came back to that parking lot after lunch.
No way.
And some folks were there walking it and had just found meteorite fragments, and they were exactly the same color as the concrete. Like there's just no way you would have seen them unless you were walking and scrutinizing every tiny little crumb of white material on the ground.
Wow.
I didn't find anything. So I didn't earn my ticket to be here, but this guy did.
What? What?
So this is the finder, not me.
Are you serious?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
That is amazing.
I was
Congratulations,
standing
buddy.
around chatting with some other meteorite hunters, and he literally picked up a rock and was like, "Is this a meteorite, Dad?" And it was just like, I think some jaws dropped.
Wow. Can we see it? Congratulations, big guy. That's awesome.
So this is his stone.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Wow. It's complete.
Yep. There's one little nick on it right in the middle there.
Wow.
Wow.
And then there's some staining on one side. I don't know what causes that, but
That's amazing.
Beauty.
So
well, I heard rumor that the first major find, the first main mass find, was a young boy, and I heard it on the news. Was
Ben right here?
Oh my God, dude, you're famous, man. I know about you all the way here in Arizona. I'm dead serious, man. I know. I didn't see your face, but I knew exactly who. I knew about a little boy who found the main mass.
I had 2 or 3 people come up to me later and ask, "Is this the kid?"
I'm so jealous. That's awesome. Congrats,
So,
buddy. Wow.
but we spent the all day Friday and about half to 2/3 of a day Saturday on the ground, either driving or walking.
Wow.
And this is the only one we found. But again, later I
Only one
realized
he found. Only one he found.
he found, and then later we realized that we were probably not searching in the densest part of the fall area. This one seems like it was an anomaly because there were a couple of stones that fell outside of the dense part of where the main fall was.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna jump in here because I was there when this was found and it was awesome.
Oh, that's one of the guys you ran across in the field.
Yeah, we were. It was funny. We were Craig Zlimen, I and Cam were hunting together, and we see Steven and his 2 kids coming up to us, and like, hey, you mind if we hunt with you? And we're like, yeah, let's do this thing. And we're walking, and so I'm standing here, and Steven and his son are 5 to 10 feet away from me on the right side of me, and I'm looking to my left, and we're just kind of talking too, and I hear Steven say, "Oh my God, he found one." And I'll be honest here. I'm like, because I'm like, okay, let's see. And then I look around and he's holding up this thing that is undoubtedly that, and it's huge. And it was amazing. It was just cool to be a part of it and witness that it happened. And particularly that of all of us around it, that Ben found it. I just think it was just amazing. I was glad to be a witness to it.
Wow, that is fantastic. We are super happy for you, Ben and Steven and family. How big is it? How much does it weigh?
I'm embarrassed here that I don't have an accurate scale at home, but we did have someone weigh it at dinner on Friday, and it was 168, and I think it was 168.6.
Nice.
That's very,
Nice.
very nice.
That's the coolest story ever.
Yeah, it's a really great story, and I'm super glad you joined us here. I mean, because that's what we do. I mean, I'll say it for everyone watching online as well. When COVID happened 5 years ago, we had some people in the Meteorite community who just needed some interaction, some socialization. So we started doing this every Wednesday. It's been over 5 years, and we haven't missed a single day now. So a single week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's I don't get old of these old people, but they get old. No. When you have fresh blood come in with a great story, a live event like this, and then like to absolutely, I love kids. So to have a kid find it and be able to, like, I don't know if he's still the main mass holder, but he was at one point. That is really super cool, and I'm super glad that you were invited to and took us up to come on the show and talk about it, because it is a great story, and I'd love to get pictures of that, because I will put those pictures on the thumbnail to this video, and Ben can show all his friends of this video on YouTube, and I'd be honored if I could do that. Yeah, nice. All right, we're definitely going to do that. So I'll tell you right now, don't sell it. Just keep it, hold it forever. No one will ever pay you per gram what it's worth to have that memory for the rest of your life. And this is one of these cases where, Ben, you can actually tell people, I found a real space rock. And most people who say that, whether they usually believe it, but they're dead wrong. Man, you are correct. You have found yourself a winning space rock. I really appreciate that. Let's take a look at some of these rocks up super close with Chris.
So I've got 3 stones here. The one on the right is the one that was given to me by another hunter. The one on the left, the tiniest one, is the one that I found. And the one in the middle was the one I got from Stephen Dixie. So the one in the middle, the big one, it's 48.5 grams. It was the 4th stone he found. So the first stone he found post rainfall. Obviously, it's a local fall. It's the first time I went hunting for one. But the other big thing is, y'all know I go around to a lot of classrooms in Georgia and talk about these things. And I wanted one that was sizable enough to bring and show off to those classrooms. So that is the goal of this stone. I'm going to a camp next week to talk about the fall and show it off. I'm doing a thing with the local paper here about it in the next couple days.
This is something you don't see every day. What we believe is a piece of a meteorite.
Yeah, 24 hours ago, it was a piece of an asteroid that somehow gravity sent it to us.
And now it's in your hand.
And now it's in my hand.
These self-proclaimed meteorite hunters, one a former broadcaster and the other a science teacher, told me they found these pieces hours after meteorites about 3 feet in diameter, weighing more than a ton, landed in parts of metro Atlanta.
Audrey, what do they do with it? Do they test it? What do they do with it once they find those pieces?
This stone is going to be, it went all over the universe, but it's going to be going all over North Georgia for the next little while, so people can see it. It's a pretty nice looking stone. It's fairly complete, but it does have a few chips, which is good because that shows that nice contrast.
This is a great example, Chris. Wow, that's really complete too. I didn't realize that.
That's
really great to see what fresh fusion, real fusion crust looks like, and what the stone underneath, especially a fresh stone where it's not oxidized, it's not tanned, it's pure white, basically.
I believe this is the probably where it impacted or skidded a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
It's got some pretty good dimples. I took some, in a minute, I'm going to share in the chat the photographs I took of it, which show a little bit better than the video itself will.
I'm not going to put you on the thumbnail, dude.
That's okay. It's going to compete with the bigger stone and the kid. I understand.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. That fusion crust is so nice. That's actually like different color patch. Wow.
A little bit of dimpling kind of in there.
This is amazing. You know how many people have seen those videos and will never see or touch or hold one of these stones?
It's I don't know. It's amongst this group, it's I don't know. It's a thing, but it's very humbling to know that thing was floating around in space for billions of years. Of all the places it could go, it lands on Earth. Of all the places in Earth, it's in Georgia, and of all the places in Georgia, I'm holding it in my hand. It's it's enough to bring a guy to tears. It's wild.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, congratulations, man. We really appreciate it. You checking in with us, and congratulations on your find. And one thing I know for a fact is that big hunk is going to be seen by a lot of people, and hopefully it'll inspire a lot of kids, because that's one thing that this channel's been built on since day one. Well, since day 21, actually, is kids and education and stuff. And I'm just tonight, or tomorrow actually, is releasing the video of your book and Maxime's book. So that's coming out, and in there I put some pictures of you at different schools. So yeah, you talk the talk and you walk the walk. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. And the big one, it was the middle size one was the one that was on TV when that whole thing. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or come back to it.
Oh yeah, please. Thank you for keeping me on track. Yeah, I was really happy because there's a lot of freaks in this world, people. Okay, and there's a lot of freaks in the meteorite world too. I mean, I'm one of them. No, there's some people that I would not choose to represent me in front of a news camera in Georgia on a meteorite, because
Brad Weber lives nearby and felt the moment the meteorite landed.
I heard sort of a rumble when I was in my garage. Stepped outside.
Super exciting. I'm a collector. I've collected for a while.
Chris Sanders and his partner Craig Zlimen traveled to the McDonough area after they learned pieces of the meteorite landed off of Pullen Road and possibly through a roof on Cathedral Drive.
We got 2 people interviewed that are from our crew that just knocked it out of the park. They probably had so much awesomeness that was cut down to like a little sound bite. But Craig Zlimen and Chris, you guys actually made the cut. You made it on the local news.
Yeah, it was kind of just random to some degree. I just gotten the first stone, and Craig and I were going to another area to hunt over the area where we met you at, Stephen. And we're driving and we're just kind of driving around slowly looking. And we drive past someone filming a field with some cows in it. And we kind of keep going for a little bit and then we pull off. And Craig and I are talking for a minute. And we're like, surely they're not just filming these like there's lots of cows around, like it's Georgia. And so we turn around and find them and I pull up and I'm like, y'all aren't looking, doing a story about this meteorite, are you? And like, yeah, we are. I was like, oh, y'all want to see a piece of it? And they're like, they're like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, we're hunting and all this and that. And so their story went from film of cows and just talking about it to actually showing it. But it was pretty cool. They were very kind. I mean, they definitely, like, the anchor definitely thought we were big nerds, which guilty. But
basically laughed at you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Audrey, the people who found it call themselves meteorite hunters.
But so we showed her and she asked a lot of good questions and held it and talked about it. And she probably filmed for 10 minutes, which got cut down to 2 minutes.
There are ways to distinguish them from other rocks, scientists tell us. One of the ways is density. Meteorites are usually heavy since they contain metallic iron and dense materials, even though the small pieces found today were very light. The United States Geological Survey says they generally have an unusual shape. Because of the metallic iron, meteorites are also magnetic. And stony meteorites have a fusion crust or a thin crust on their surface.
Here in Georgia, they showed it 3 days in a row, 2 different packages they made of. So it was everywhere, and it was some nice education for folks. That was good. I tried to sneak a book reference in there.
I was gonna say, I know Milo may try to make an appearance somehow.
Well, I mentioned that I just wrote the book and all this, and like that's cool. And they got a bunch of film of it, and like they filmed over my shoulder, flipping through it, but they didn't include any of that. Yeah. So it was a nice try. But it was great. Craig was there, so I didn't realize they were gonna air it like as early as 4 o'clock. So I start getting text messages while I'm out there hunting, like you're on the news, you're on the news. Apparently they introduced Craig as a former TV weatherman.
Yeah.
Which he was a former TV broadcaster, but not a weatherman.
Yeah.
They introduced me as a science teacher, which I guess I do teach some science, but I'm not actually a science teacher in a school. And they also introduced Craig and I as partners, which was taken a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Hey, I could do a lot worse.
His hunting partner.
The only part that really got, at the very beginning, they're like self-proclaimed meteorite hunters, and I'm like, there's not a certification, and you just look at the ground.
No, I'm doing it. It's real. You're watching it. This is happening.
They were filming near the house where this happened. I think we know where that is now, but the people want to be left alone, so we're not disclosing that information. And then I think people don't want to be left alone, so people don't need to bother them. But it was, I don't know, cool experience and a cool way to really to document the day, because I mentioned this to other folks, but like finding the rock was really, really cool. Having those is really cool. The coolest part was the stories, meeting all these people.
Yeah.
A lot of people whose names I know or I've interacted from or bought and sold to, and folks like Craig and so on. And I don't know, it's all the memories and the stories. And there was a hunter who kind of got the cops called on him because of he was parked someplace he wasn't. Maybe me and someone else tried to talk our way onto the roof of a warehouse that didn't go so too well. A lot of random shenanigans that go along with it. It was just a lot of fun.
What happens in Georgia stayed in Georgia, right?
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super exciting. It's super interesting because we always talk about you can enjoy the hobby any way in a multitude of different ways. So physically hunting is definitely the best when picking up fresh black rocks off the ground. I do want to give Roberto a chance to add to the conversation.
So I've got a special surprise for you guys if you can wait like 10 minutes.
Hey, will you look at that?
You're on a live. I'm on a live with Topher Spin Meteorite. One of my favorite guys in the whole wide world.
That's what I wanted to see. Awesome. Thank you very much. I know what's happening. Mike, love seeing your hand up. What's up, bud?
Hey, so I just wanted to mention, you mentioned some videos and some Ring doorbell cams, which are getting common, and truck, dashboard cams getting common. This one had a really cool one that probably will not be topped, maybe ever. Oh. There was a skydiving company, Carolina Skydive Carolina. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. And one of the guys had a action cam and was filming one of the customers when they jumped out of the plane, and you can see the boloid in the
What?
background while they're jumping. It's on Facebook.
Oh man!
Check
Well, now
out-
it's on the video. You guys just watched it, so how
Check
cool
out
is that?
Skydive Carolina.
So this is one time we're joining us live. Sucks. Wow, that's crazy. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
The
I
only
also
thing that comes close to, that I can think of is Vinalis. Someone took a picture on an airplane, and out the side of the window, you could see Vinalis in the background.
Yeah.
But this is so much cooler.
Wow. I am really happy that everyone joined us today to share this experience. It's very interesting and exciting for something to happen like this. And what's really great about this event, in my opinion, is it really is getting people who would never mention meteorite or think about going out and looking for rocks on the ground. It got them interested in that, even if it was just a small bolide event in their life and they'll never think about it again. At least for a moment in time, they knew for a fact that they are part of this cosmos, that they exist in this universe with all of us. And we're all just trying to get along with each other. So let's be nice to each other. Have a great week, guys. I saw for a split second something big, sexy, and black. And I was like, put that down.